Welcome to Pagan Crafting. Today we're going to be making some yellow sun salt, some witch's salt. This yellow sun salt is for happiness, friendship, strength, courage, and success. It's an empowerment salt that you could be able to use in many of your witch's spells. Now this happiness, strength, courage, friendship, and success salt is only made actually between the end of August and the beginning of September, maybe a bit of August. So you got about a month and a half there of play to gather your ingredients to make this salt, only once a year. Stay tuned, let's have some fun, and let's learn how to make some witch's salt. Now what we're going to use for our ingredients is sunflower petals. I'm also going to be using sunflower pollen. These are nasturtium flowers. And everything that we'll use here will have to be dried. So these are dried nasturtium flowers. Some of our organic ingredients, you will have to take the time before you do this spell to hydrate them, dehydrate them. I use the strength and the sun card in this ritual to power up what I want to invoke. Now the sun card is happiness, a joyous outcome. It represents success. A generous dose of happiness is focused upon you when you get the sun card. The outcome is beautiful, happy, successful. Now the strength card is unconditional love, self-respect, and courage. It's about being your strongest self when these two cards come together. Now back to our other ingredients. We're going to be using some ginger. May I suggest powdered ginger if you don't have the time to slice it up and dry it up. We're going to be using lemon peel. Again, that will have to be dried. Wishing crystals. Turmeric. Safflower petals. Lemon peels dried. I prefer kosher salt because I like a larger granules in my spells, just a preference. Now for our tools, we're going to be using some wire cutters, some needle nose pliers, and that's going to be helping us out near the end with our embellishments. And these are some of the embellishments I'm thinking about using. I'm going to use gold wax stamp seal. I'm going to be using a key if a key to is happiness. I have some glass fauceted beads, as well as embellishments of peace, love, and happiness that I would like to put on and around my jar later on. We'll go through that at the end. You will also need a couple strands of chain, 2 different sizes, some jump rings, and 1 large jump ring. Let's start off with the lemon peel. Now, lemon is the element fire, and it's ruled by the planet sun. The sun magic rituals, it's solar energy, divine magic. It's for love, purification, friendship, summer magic, happiness spells as well. So I start off by slicing it to very thin slices first. And if I squeeze my hand super tight, magic YouTube land, hey yeah, and they're dried. Pretty awesome, huh? So you're gonna dry your lemon peels. Now for your ginger. Ginger is the element of fire. You want to slice that up super, super, super thin, dry it up, and then what you could do after you slice it super thin, you can grind it up. If you don't wish to do this, ginger powder is totally fine as well. Starting off with actually a candle. I like to kind of set the tone of the place. I like to do a little bit of candle magic when I create my spells. Even if it isn't a candle magic spells, I always manage to bring a candle in somehow. I'm going to use a plain old Jiffy marker. You can use a nail, a scribe, a knife, anything, a theme that you would like to scribe on your candle. I'm using a Sharpie here, so you could see what I'm doing. I'm just throwing down some symbols. That's right. I want happiness. I want sun. So I'm just having some fun, throwing down a little smiley face on the sun here because I want happiness with this one. I'm going to write down the words that I want to invoke. Again, success, friendship, courage, strength, and happiness. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's going to be all burnt down anyway, but you want to invoke that scribe on your candle. Throw down more intention, as much as the better. Now, what I like to do is while I cast my spells, I work on my salts, my spell jars, things like that. When I have my candle burning, as I'm putting the ingredients into my spell jar, or in this case salt, I also throw down the ingredients around the salt. As the wax burns down, it engulfs all the ingredients, and I like to keep that into a little satchel for later, and I keep that for spells because that's all charged and powered up. I'm going to use Sunday because Sunday's for the sun. That's right. Just so happens September 11th, 22nd was the pink moon. So I gonna decide to use that anointing oil instead. So this was filmed in September, is when I harvested the nasturtium and the sunflowers. I'm going to anoint my oil in not only Sunday oil, but I got to do a full moon oil as well. Laying in some ingredients. I'm going to put some saffron flowers. I put some lemon peels in there. And I'm going to anoint the candle in my herbs as well. A little extra powered up. Throwing down some Reiki. Yeah, always got to do that. Powered it up. And I want to draw the intentions towards me. Draw it towards me. So I'm going to anoint the candle towards me, not away from me. I want to bring it towards me, absorb it, absorb the happiness and friendship and all this wonderfulness coming here. Just burning the bottom end of the candle here so it'll sit up straight. And then I said, as I go, I like to put all the little herbs ingredients around the candle as well as I'll put it in the salt. And then again, I'll save that in a little satchel for later. Here's some little teeny tiny quartz crystals, throwing some of those with the candle to help inspire the candle, power up the candle. And with my intention, I'm going to light the candle. put out to the universe what we want. Now I have these little PDF downloads you can get on my Pagan Crafting on Etsy. I've designed a couple sigils here that I'm going to use. I'm combining them. Now this one on the right is a sun symbol and for victory in full Thark runes. The one on the left is my sigil that I made that stands for happiness, strength, courage, and friendship. This was in the 11th day. That's on a Sunday. September is when this was filmed. The moon cycle, we have a full moon. It was awesome. Now materials I'm using, the color of the candle is gold. The color of the wax stamp seal is also gold or yellow. Infused oil, I used almond oil with the pink moon, a Sunday moon. Essential oils, none. And then I'm going to use the tools of the candle wax stamp seal, the element fire, flowers I'm using, and I write down the planets, deities I'm rocking. Now the herbs up here I'm using is lemon peel, turmeric, ginger, a kosher salt, and the flowers that I'm using is sunflower petals, nasturtium petals, and safflowers. Now if you wish to stay the end of this video, or if you just want to skip all the way to the end, whatever you dig on, there's a coupon code at the end of this video and you'll be able to download these PDF downloads for a percentage off on my Pagan Crafting. Now the space above is for how I'm going to set up my altar, but I'm not doing that in this case. I'm making the salt for my future spells. So I'm just going to lay down my intentions. Again, the PDF downloads are the Pagan Crafting on Etsy, as well as sigil sheets where you can design your own sigils as well. If you get yourself a nice glass bowl, I do not prefer using plastic. It is a preference. I believe plastic can absorb the magical properties. I don't want to do that, so I like to use glass wherever possible. Kosher salt, nice and thick. It's a wonderful salt to use. I like, again, the larger granules. So I like to measure with my heart. I really don't have a lot of exact ingredients. I did measure how much salt I did need with this one. But I like to just kind of add by look, feel. I love the feel of the salt, the larger granules. Again, we're going to go back to the nasturtium flowers. I only picked a few of them. I have a few of them that are fresh here. You can definitely see the difference in colors, but oh yeah, when it dried, it definitely got a little darker. I wasn't expecting that. So hopefully this salt won't get too yellow or too orange. Just taking out all the stems here, keeping in the flowers. Now nasturtiums are great. Nasturtiums are for strength, purity, strong emotion, devotion, strong energy, strong desire, and celebration. The yellow nasturtium specifically is for joy, playfulness, youth, new beginnings, and friendships. Now the dried sunflower here. The sunflower is ruled by the element fire, by the planet sun. It's for courage, friendship. It'll heal, especially for grief or sadness. Seeds are good for fertility, abundance, and a family warmth. Here I'm using some of the pollen. There was so much pollen on the flower, I'm not sure if you could see it here, but it was quite a bit, so I thought it'd be cool to add that too. Now mixing these two together, forming it into a powder. I'm going to use the magic YouTube blend here in just a little moment to fine powder it. Dun, 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 magic of YouTube blend. And we have some safflower petals as well. That's for the element air, and it's for happiness, healing, love, and sex. Ooh. Magic of YouTube blend, ta-da! It's all powdered up. That's a lot of work for 3 little flowers, but it should get some really nice color when we dye this salt. Throwing down some Reiki on this salt to cleanse it. I smudged it before I started this video, but I thought I'd throw some Reiki as well. It doesn't hurt. And here's our 3 petals, the sunflower, nasturtium, and safflower. They're going to be great for dyeing. Oh, the colors are so gorgeous and rich. Just going to throw some more frankincense on here. Gosh, I love this smell. Our next ingredient is ginger. It's ruled by the element fire. And again, you could get some from the grocery store, chop it up yourself, rock it in that way, but I figure with the powder, it's a lot more easier and less time consuming. The ginger is to help speed things up. It's cause a plant to fruit quickly, and it adds power to any magical activity. Now getting ready for our next ingredient is the lemon peels. You can finely chop up the dried bits as well, which I have here at the bottom of the bowl, and it makes it easier to grind up. Now the lemon peel is the element of fire, and it also is ruled by the planet sun. Noticing kind of a same path. Things are either ruled by the sun or fire when it comes to these ingredients. Now the lemon peel is for straight up good old-fashioned sun magic. It's for rituals and solar energy, divine magic, love, purification, friendship, summer magic, and happiness spells. All right, let us add our lemon peel. I love seeing all the different colors of yellows together. It's so beautiful. This is going to make some beautiful coloration in the salt. Now, believe it or not, every single ingredient we're going to be using today is edible, right down to the nasturtiums and safflowers too. Now this turmeric, it's element fire and the planet Jupiter. It's for passion, commanding, confidence, courage. It's for use for exorcism, straight up good old-fashioned magic, strength, happiness, purity, honesty, and truthfulness. Now the funnest part, to stir your concoction all together, watching the colors form in your yellow sun salt. With each intention, with each stir, bring in the happiness, bring in the strength, bring in the courage, bring in the friendship, and bring your success. A little bit of time lapse here. I kept a bit of salt from my last batch, so I was just checking it to make sure the color was consistent. So I had to add a little bit more turmeric to create a little bit more gold. And it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now I kept this jar. It was a honey jar. It was from this honey that I got at Walmart that I could never, ever, ever find again. It was amazing. And I thought this would be the perfect jar for the yellow sun salt, is to have honey on there. Or a honeybee jar. Goes with the sun, sunflowers. Now with each intention, by putting into my jar, I think of the happiness again, the friendship, strength, and courage. You'll be able to use this sun salt in so many spells. Friendship spells, love spells, happiness, money, abundance, luck. There's so many things you could add this to. You could sprinkle this around your new job to have success. You could sprinkle this in some of your cooking so you could invoke a new job of success or something in there. Do you have the strength to get through the day of too much anxiety? This is something you could definitely use for so many things. Now we're going to have some fun here. We're going to put on some embellishments. So this jar is pretty big. It's not one of my normal little spell jars. So I'm going to be putting some embellishments around the edges, and I plan to be putting more on later. This was a piece of a belt that I found at a thrift store. I actually just like more the embellishments and the actual shirt itself. So I'm just popping them off, popping all the gold ones off. And I'm going to use hot glue, and I'm going to simply just glue on these north, south, east, and west. There isn't too much of these embellishments with this particular one I'm doing today because I really wanted to find something else to add to it. So I'd rather wait and add to it later than just do something for the sake of this video. So it's going to look very simple, but I think the embellishments with the chain and the charms will add a little kick to it for now. So just simple, just easy, just fun. And I'm going to add something between those spaces again later. Melting some of my gold wax. I think I'm going to add that to the top here in just a bit too. But first I'm going to add the chains. I have 2 different sizes of chains. One is going to wrap all the way around first, grabbing a jump ring. Creating 1 ring and then folding the next chain in half and creating 3 different chains. And I'm going to cut them 3 different lengths. Now with each embellishment I have here, I'm going to be adding a goldish brown faceted glass bead. Just laying on some jump rings, getting the faceted beads on the charms. I have a spiral, a piece, and I have a knotwork. I would have really loved a sun charm, but out of all the charms I had, I didn't have. And sometimes you have to craft and not go buy things. Sometimes you should just use what you have. So I'm making do. And I think it'll look equally sharp regardless. Now I have my 3 embellishments on. I got my key on, key to happiness, catching some gold, catching some light. And now this is a Sacred Geometry wax stamp seal. It would have been super awesome if I had a bumblebee on this one, but alas, I do not have a bumblebee stamp seal yet, but I will soon. A little bit of time lapse here. I like to hide a sigil underneath my wax stamp seal, as well as I like to draw the sigil I designed onto a little jar. Some models will hit that. I like to make sigils so they go on basically everything I own, from water cups for my cooking spoons to my spell jars, you name it. Throw in this symbol for Sunday, strength, victory, with full Thark rune. No reason for the wax stamp seal. I just like pouring wax. It just makes me happy and it just looks cooler. I like pouring on everything, so there's no reason for the spell for that. I'm just doing it because I dig it. So I'm pretty happy how the embellishments turned out. And you could use whatever you like. You can change up the ingredients. The main ingredients you do want to use is something that's going to dye the sun salt for you as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. Substitute the ingredients for anything that you like. Questions or concerns, run me down in the comments below. If you wish to see any other types of salts, let me know, and I would love to make some more. Have a fantastic day, and thank you for pagan crafting with me.